Resellers, it's almost tax time. And today we are talking about a very important subject, reseller taxes. Whether you're selling as a hobby, a side hustle, or for a profit with a growing business, taxes are inevitable and there is so much misinformation online. Today we'll talk about what you need for taxes, frequently asked questions, how Vendoo tools can help you for tax preparation, and my best reseller tips to navigate tax time. But before we do, let me invite you to subscribe to our channel. We publish content every week, and it's all related to Vendoo tips, community updates, and information about how to scale and grow your resale business. Disclaimer, and this is so important. Talk to a tax professional. When it comes to taxes, almost any advice that you receive is bad advice. This article contains general information that may or may not be applicable to all resellers. The only person that can determine if information is applicable to you is a certified specialist or tax pro in your area that can take a look at your finances, other income streams, the way you run your business, and collectively help with personalized and legal advice. The good news is we have collaborated with a tax pro to create your complete reseller's guide to tax prep. We'll link that below. You can trust that information, but of course we always recommend that you talk to a pro in your area. Let's talk about the biggest reselling myth I ever hear, that if you don't make X amount, you don't have to claim. Okay, that is just misinformation. Generally, if you are making a profit, you need to claim. Even if you're not making a profit because you're selling your own items and you're selling them for less than what you paid, you still probably need to file. Will you need to pay? No. But it's a black and white law that all profit and earnings must be reported to the IRS. Now, might there be a loophole or exception, like a yard sale exception, which is not an official term? There might be, but that's why you need to speak with a pro. So proceeding with this video, we are assuming that everyone is filing because most everyone should be. So let's talk about what you need to prepare for taxes. Tax prep can be a nightmare, especially if you didn't do some administrative work all throughout the year. Tax prep is especially tough for multi-platform resellers because you have different fees, costs, sales, and numbers coming from all different platforms. And some platforms provide a lot of tools for you to calculate this, and others do not. So here's a general list of what you need. And of course, I recommend that you talk to a pro to find out exactly what you need for your taxes to be prepared. So this list is general. Generally, you might require the following pieces of information for tax preparation. First, any forms that you have received from the marketplace. Pursuant to new legislation, all marketplaces are required in the US to send a 1099-K form to you if you grossed more than $600 in the year on that platform. So if you received these documents, of course, you give them to your tax preparer. 2 is generally the total cost of your starting inventory. And to be clear, that's cost, not value. So the cost out that you had on in-stock inventory as of January 1st of the year. Number 3 is similarly your ending inventory. That's the total cost of inventory in stock as of December 31st of the prior year. Next is a list of expenses. So expenses have many subcategories within. In our context for resellers, it often includes supplies, poly mailers, equipment, detergents, softwares that you might pay for. Vendoo is a deduction, things like that. Your deductions may or may not be deductible or partially deductible. All expenses, depending on your business model and your filing status, will be eligible for deduction in a different way, but having a list of them and itemized by category will help your tax preparer to navigate which expenses may or may not be deductible. And this is why you should call ahead and find out what you need. The first time I did reseller taxes the correct way, I didn't realize that my home office might be eligible, so the square footage of that space was required. There are some really specifics that you might not have on hand, so it's a good idea to call ahead. We won't go too far into deductions and expenses because it's super specific, but definitely be sure to check out our Reseller's Guide to Tax Prep, where you'll learn even more about potentially deductible expenses for resellers. And the next two things you'll need are the amount you might have paid out to employees, contractors, or for services, and of course, finally, the amount that you earned, your revenue by marketplace. So definitely have all of this in order, all of this added up, and be prepared to provide all of it. It's so important that you have this stuff in order in case you get audited. I have been audited. It is a nightmare. I had to find receipts. I had to go into confirmation emails. I had to go into bank statements. You learn as you go, but just take it from me. Get yourself together now because it's a nightmare otherwise. Make sure you retain all of your receipts. I literally at this point just shove them into an envelope, hoping I'm never going to have to use them, but having them there if I need them. For cash purchases, I have come into the habit of actually paying with my own cash, Erin's cash, and then transferring money from Erin's business account to personal, because that transaction acts to me as an electronic record and I can detail what it was. And of course, for electronic purchases, shopping online, you can always save those emails. If you use Gmail, you can even set up rules and tools so that emails from certain sources are categorized in certain folders so that all of that information is available for tax prep and if, God forbid, you are audited. Tax prep before Vendoo was a nightmare. Seriously, I would be going through sales reports, calculating my own fees on the platforms that don't give you that overlay, looking at bank statements, trying to figure out receipts, hours in spreadsheets. It was a nightmare. Now, with Vendoo, it's literally so easy. Vendoo has superior inventory management, and there are no reason to keep your own spreadsheets. Just as you use Vendoo, all of the information, including all of the numbers and costs, are downloadable in a spreadsheet at any time. So that's made for you, and you can download it as a CSV that you can open in any software. Vendoo also does all of your profit and revenue tracking as it pertains to your inventory. When you mark an item as sold in Vendoo, you can enter your marketplace fees, sale price, and any shipping expenses. It creates a formula whereby it takes the sale price, deducts marketplace fees, deducts shipping expenses, and thus gives you your actual profit per item. And again, you can download this in a spreadsheet at any time. My tax prep, as far as my inventory, is now as simple as downloading that and emailing it straight to the accountant. Plus, because Vendoo has all these numbers and information, Vendoo will give you super powerful business analytics that you can use to help scale and grow your resale business. Using Vendoo has saved me so much time and money in the day-to-day function of my reselling business, and it has made tax time so simple. There's not much preparation required because I use Vendoo and everything's always in order. So in addition to getting Vendoo, here are some of my other tax tips. I bet you can't guess the first one. That is to consult with a pro. The second is to not mix accounts. Do not mix your personal and business accounts. It makes bookkeeping and tax prep a nightmare reviewing statements. It's very easy to open a separate account, and if you have a legitimate business account, it qualifies for a ton of things like Amazon Business, where you can get your reselling supplies for a fraction of the cost. Number 3, of course, is to save everything. I mentioned how I save receipts and how I account for cash transactions and electronic ones. That is super important. Your accountant might require it, and you will certainly need it if you are audited. So make sure you save every single document. Next, along similar lines, is to really save everything that has anything to do with your business. Buy a new computer that you use for your business and your personal, that might be partially deductible. If you use a product, supply, or tool in your business, Even if you use it for personal use as well, it could be deductible or partially. You'll have to ask your tax specialist, but have the documentation with you. This next one is a big one. Please do not prepare your own taxes. I know that there are softwares that make it seem super easy, and if you don't have a ton going on, you think you can handle it. That might be the case, but truly only a certified accountant or tax pro can absolutely get you the best results. They are aware of the laws. They can look at your other income, your marital status, your business, if it's self-employment, if it would make sense to establish an LLC. They can look at all of these factors, discuss them, talk to you about the pros and cons, and give you the most advice and the most potential deductions. That is so important. Prepare your own taxes, please. For more detailed tax tips and information about reseller taxes, please check out our Reseller's Guide to Tax Prep. You'll find all of this information and even more from a tax pro, and of course, consult with your own. Happy tax time, reseller friends, said no one ever. I'll see you next time.